We've got a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack. AFC, NFC, schedules, week 1, Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football, and probably the most important week, especially as it relates to best ball, is week 17. We're breaking down the 2024 NFL schedule live. We are live. Jack of all trades Blackbeard first in the building. Prime, Jack of all trades is here. Kenny Powers is here. John, Blackbeard, as I said. All of you guys file on in. The Fantasy Football Show Schedule Edition 2024 NFL schedule is out. Let's react. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at, right after I put it up on screen here, the 2020, let's put this bigger version up real quick, the 2024 NFL schedule. Now, we're going to break it down in much more detailed fashion, but here's a little glimpse of it. If anybody wants to even pause it, or screenshot this, you can take a longer look later, but this is the 2024 NFL schedule grid. I'll be putting this up on thefantasyfootballshow.com later tonight, so if you want to get this actual grid, and I'll be doing a very detailed breakdown of my strength of schedule, not everybody else's, because I do mine different. I account for PPR, I account for all kinds of things as it relates to running backs specifically that other people I believe don't do properly, so we'll be breaking that down. But that's the 2024 NFL schedule, and let's kind of like take a look at it real quickly, and let's go through week 1 real briefly. And pull this up, and let me put on this side of the screen. And there's so much to digest here, so much. Week number 1, I think, is the one we want to break down first. We got this is week 17, isn't it? This is week 17. Let's put week 1. Let's see here. Is this week 1? I think this is week 1. I got all these things on screen here. I don't even know what I'm looking at. It's all over the place. Week 1. There we go. Week 1, ladies and gentlemen. I give you the week 1 NFL schedule right in front of your face. Look at this beauty right here. Ravens, Chiefs. This will be Thursday night football. This will be a fantastic game. Let me just rename this because I'm all over the place here with all these different graphics. There we go. Then we got Friday night, Green Bay versus the Eagles on Peacock. That is September 6th. We've got Pittsburgh at Atlanta. What a great game that's going to be. The Cardinals at Buffalo in week 1 morning games. The Titans at the Bears. That's a good one. Let me go over and grab something that I can like highlight with this. Hold on, let me go grab this real quickly. Hold on one second. Hang tight, because I need something to highlight all these with. Let's grab this. Let's grab that. Okay, here we go. So we've got Titans at the Bears. That's a good matchup for the Bears to try and roll out Caleb Williams. Kind of a nice, not to say the Titans can't play good football. They definitely have a pretty decent team, surprisingly. As things unfolded in the offseason, it felt like it was going to fall apart, getting rid of Derrick Henry, and you're worried about Levis, and they bring in Ridley, and they've got Pollard. Like, it's a pretty good squad. We'll see what happens there with this Bears-Titans game. That's in Chicago. Patriots at the Bengals. The Houston Texans at the Colts will be such a fun game. Stroud versus AR5. The NFL really does know what they're doing when it comes to schedules. They really do. Jaguars at the Dolphins. The Panthers at the Saints. Let's throw 2 teams together. I love what the Panthers did in the draft, but that's good to do that. Not damper any of the week 1 matchups. Vikings at the Giants. Sure, that's good. Let's group them together. Vikings at the the Raiders at the Chargers. Kind of bland offenses. Throw those together. Seattle and Denver. I like what they're doing here, keeping the exciting matchups, the rivalries. Dallas Cowboys at Cleveland. That's going to be a dogfight. I like that game. Washington at Tampa. Let's give JD5 an easier time I would say, than maybe like a tougher matchup. It's definitely not a cakewalk, but I don't mind this. He's on the road, but that's okay. Rams at Detroit. That's a fantastic evening game on Sunday Night Football. And then we already knew about this. They leaked this early. The Jets at the Niners on Monday Night Football. This is a fantastic slate of games. This Friday game is super interesting and intriguing for all of us. That's fantastic. I love everything that I'm looking at. I don't think there's anything here I don't understand, to be quite honest. We've got these different Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. This is the Thursday Night Football schedule. So Thursday Night Football in week number 2, you have you have the Ravens and Chiefs you obviously know of in week 1. So week 2, we've got the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. That's fantastic. We've got a lot of fantasy production there. We've got the Patriots at the Jets. We've got the Dallas Cowboys at the Giants. We've got week 5, the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Atlanta Falcons. Like, you can see it in front of you. It's pretty interesting Thursday night slate of games. And week 17, Seattle at Chicago. Niners at home against the Rams in week 15 is a great game. That week 14 Green Bay at Detroit's fantastic. That week 10 Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens is great. And then that week 11 Washington Commanders at Philadelphia Eagles, that's going to be good by week 11. Right now people might look at that and go, oh, the Commander. Just wait and see what happens. This Commander team is coming for everybody. And I think they're going to be a lot better than people think. They think they're going to be the Houston Texans, the Detroit Lions. Maybe they need another year. Maybe they don't. I don't know that they necessarily do. I'm just going to go out there and say that JD5 is going to be that good from the jump. 2024 schedule for the Sunday night games. This is solid here. I'll be honest. The Brazil game. Let's see. NFL game kickoff. What is the schedule? Week 1 Sunday Night Football. Okay, so week 1 is the Rams. Is that right? What's going on here? Sunday Night Football, is that correct? Yeah, Rams and Detroit Lions. Okay, so Rams and Detroit Lions for this week 1 contest. Let me put this box up on top here so I can highlight this as I go. We got week 2, the Texans and Bears. That'll be kind of a good game. The Chiefs and Falcons, that's fantastic. Look at all the fantasy scoring in week 3 on Sunday Night Football in week number 3. I love that. I love really good Sunday night games. I don't know about you guys, but I think Sunday night games are underrated. Like, we look at it and we see Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, but like, that's really probably one of my most favorite times of the Sunday games is when everything calms down. You can kind of sit down and watch one game. You don't have to like bounce all around all over. You've done that all day. You're kind of tired and worn out from that. Kind of like being at the pool all day long and you go back to the hotel, get dressed, and go to dinner. That's how it feels to go to the Sunday Night Football game, in my opinion. Just to watch it on TV. It's like you're tired, you're waterlogged, you're going to get a nice bite to eat, you're going to reset your meal and your fuel, and you're going to watch one game, and it's always a good game. And that's what I love about Sunday Night Football. So enjoyable. And these matchups are great. I mean, even this week 1 matchup, I mean, that's fantastic. You got Kyron, you got Kupp, you got Puka Nacua, Stafford, you've got Jahmyr Gibbs, Monty, Laporta, St. Brown, Goff's new contract talk, all that stuff. That's a great week 1 Sunday Night Football. These are all fantastic. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson, Dak versus maybe Fields by week 5. Joe Burrow gonna cakewalk the New York Giants, hopefully. Jets at Steelers, great matchup. Cowboys, San Francisco 49ers, it's going to be a good game. Eagles this will be a good game, but I think Eagles will win this one. Lions, Houston, amazing matchup. Jets and Colts, that could be fun. Eagles, Rams, great game. Dolphins, Green Bay, depending on Tua, that could be a great game, depending on how the Dolphins are doing. Of course, there's so many playmakers on the Dolphins team, like at any moment, that's a great game, any matchup. Niners again here. Against the Buffalo Bills, the Chiefs and Chargers, Green Bay and Seattle. That's kind of we'll see what Seattle's doing at that point in time. KC and Houston, great game. Tampa Bay Cowboys, Miami Dolphins in Cleveland, and then week 18 TBA. So the TBA, if anybody noticed when I first saw this, I was like, wait a minute, what's TBA? I mean, I know what TBA is, but I mean, what's TBA? Why are they TBA? Do they not know the matchups? What's going on here? And I pulled it up, and I'm like, what are they trying to TBA us on? And then I realized it was just the time frames. It wasn't the matchup. So don't worry. It's not like we don't have an actual slate of games for week 17. I thought for a minute when I saw these TBAs, I'm like, no, or TBDs, to be determined. I'm like, no, they haven't set the whole schedule yet. What are they? And then I was like, oh, time frames. The matchups are set. Good. So we don't know what game's going to be Sunday night, what game's going to be. They do that a lot. You know, they flex them. So this is, but this is the schedule, and this is probably one of the most important parts of fantasy football, especially as it relates to best ball. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Use code Smitty to get your first deposit matched up to 250%. So if you deposit up to $250, if you deposit $500, they'll give you $250. You deposit $100, they'll give you $50. You deposit $50, they'll give you $25. You deposit the minimum of $10, they'll give you $5. So hit that link that I just dropped in the live chat and play Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Links in the description as well if anybody is watching the replay. But this is fantastic. This is the final week, week 17. Let me just double check that I clipped the right week. So obviously we don't care about week 18. So at the Rams, Arizona at the Rams. I just want to confirm I clipped the right. Yeah, this is correct. And then one more. Atlanta week 17 at Washington. Yes, okay. I just wanted to double check I didn't go on a rant for 15 minutes on on week 16 or something. So here's week 17. The most important week in fantasy football. Christmas Day kicks it off, which is unbelievably interesting about week 17, might I say. Like this is pretty killer. Week 17 gets kicked off without Christmas being the final game, without, we kick off the week of final championship week of fantasy football with a Christmas double, and then a Thursday game, so two back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday games, then Sunday, then Monday, and man, this is fantastic. So, KC at the Steelers. That will be very much dependent on what's going on in Pittsburgh, how they're playing, in terms of like that game and the stackage that you're going to do. But obviously, the defense is tough. That's a kind of KC's that's a tough draw in some sense, right? The Ravens and Houston Texans, that should be a high-scoring affair. And that one's on Netflix, by the way. That one's on Netflix. This one's on Netflix. And I don't mind that. Like, I'm getting a little tired of the NFL trying to make you have to buy everything in order to watch games. But, look, I have Netflix. I know it might piss some people off. I have Peacock. I have Netflix. I have Amazon Prime. I'm an absolute streaming monster, so it doesn't really affect me, but I get that it affects other people. But Netflix, get it for 1 month. You'll be fine. They have the commercial plan. You can get it for what, like $9.99 or $12. Plus, I think they might do a free trial. I don't know. And on Black Friday, I bet you can get a big fat deal on it. So anyway, that's Christmas Day. Christmas Day. Which we celebrate on this channel, by the way. We celebrate all major holidays on this channel. Okay, no matter what your holiday is, we celebrate all of them. Okay. We don't put up a holiday tree. We'll put up a Christmas tree. We can rock the dreidel. We can do whatever you want. This is an equal opportunity celebrating channel, okay? But we will be here celebrating with the Christmas lights and the Christmas tree and the Santa hat, the Smitty hat, and we've got an amazing slate of Christmas games there, right there. Seattle, Chicago. I don't know what to make of that one. We'll see what Caleb's doing at that point. Looking at the Jets and Buffalo Bills, that's a tough, okay, Josh Allen's going up against a really tough defense, okay. Titans at the Jaguars, that one is bland. The Green Bay Packers at the Vikings, that's good. That's great for the Green Bay Packer players in week 17. Raiders at Saints, Carolina at Tampa, blah. Cowboys at Eagles, that's interesting. And the Cowboys have a good D, but they can surrender a lot of yards. They're opportunistic, but that's going to be a shootout. Part of me's thinking My mouth's watering over the Dallas Cowboy Eagle matchup right now, Week 17. Can I get a hell yeah, and raise of hands or thumbs up or eggplant emojis or a fire emoji if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking right now? As of right now, my mouth watering scenario seems to be the Cowboys at the Eagles afternoon game. Am I wrong on that so far? Am I wrong on that? So far. I haven't gone down the list. I haven't even looked myself. I'm digesting this live on the show right now as it comes through. This is a natural reaction show right here, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't no Mickey Mouse preparation affair. This is what we're talking about. Live reaction Smitty. I might change my mind 5 minutes from now. Miami at Cleveland. Tough matchup. Tough matchup for Achane. Tough, but he's such a playmaker. You know what I mean? So, like in Hill, let's keep going. Monday Night Football, Detroit at San Francisco. I like that game. That game, look, as much as the Niners do have a good D, I don't know that I feel super strong about them being a shutdown kind of defense this year. And this is late in the year. Everybody's banged up. How's everybody look? Mouth-watering potential fantasy scenario right here. Lions at Niners doesn't scare me defensively. Can I get an amen on that one as well? Do we got an amen on that one? Or we got some people coming, Niners defense is going to shut. I like that. I'm not ripping on the Niners D. I'm just saying, hey, this isn't scaring me like maybe a couple other these situations potentially could. You know, like how's Tua here? You know, but I do think Achane can pop off I don't know. This is a tough one, but this does feel like it could be one of those Tyreek Hill leaves you hanging in Week 17 games. Does anybody feel that as well? Just a little bit of a smidge of fear in that matchup there for Tyreek Hill. Denver at the Bengals. That's fantastic for Joe Burrow smoking cigars. Joe Burrow doing it live. Joe Burrow. I mean, really. You got to love that matchup. Denver. I'm not scared of Denver. Can I get an amen on the Bengals at home against the Denver Broncos Week 17 in the hizzy?
People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
So Jamar Chase, fantastic Week 17. Arizona Cardinals at the Rams. Look, that's gonna be pretty high scoring. I'm mouth watering on the Cardinals at the Rams, especially as Arizona will be on their horse at that point, right? Chargers, Patriots. Oh, I gotta take a drink after that one. Okay. Colts, Giants. AR5, JT, do your worst. That's a fantastic little matchup there. Okay, let me get rid of what do I got going on over here. This is from last night's draft, and I keep going back to this screen and it over and over and over. Let me at least put up the damn card here for this, because I keep doing it. I keep going back to this screen, and so I want to at least put up. That's not it. I want to at least put this up right here. If I'm gonna continuously come back here, there we go. Schedule. Okay. Let's get back to it. Falcons at the Washington Commanders. I'm feeling pretty good about that one too, friends. I'm feeling pretty good about that one too. Do we all agree Gibbs won't have 3 TDs as long as Monty is lurking? Come on, bro. you want to call in and debate this again? Good God, we did this last night, bro. Stop trying to prop up your Monty shares. I mean, good Lord, are you really talking down Monty's capability? Like, call in, Fantasy Dad, and I'll literally shut your argument down in about 4 seconds. But I still appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, good God. Someone's saying Cousins revenge game. Maybe Penix Jr.'s in there. Who knows? But we got JD5 versus Penix Jr. You know they did that on purpose in case Penix Jr. is taken over. They can't do this early. They want to do it late. Well, I mean, they might even. It was great. That's a great matchup. Bijan. You've got Kyle Pitts in London and either Penix Jr. or Kirk Cousins. JD5 firing on all cylinders. D-Town says you're right, Fantasy Dad. Gibbs will have 4 TDs. That is correct. I just don't understand how that's what you're going to put your face to and your name to, Fantasy Dad. All the things you could say right now, this is what you want to attach your name to, that Gibbs won't have 3 TDs as long as Monty's lurking. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? Phone lines open for Fantasy Dad. I'd like to know what you're thinking there. Like, that's the one thing you're going to put out on this show. We're sitting here watching. We're all taking it in. We're all absorbing the schedule. We're all making the bold statements. And you come out to defend your 8 shares of Monty in some sort of selfish, Monty's going to be the guy. Do it.
You've just been Smitty.
You know I love you, Fantasy Dad. I'm just laughing at that. Okay, so week 17. Week 17 schedule. Did I do the Monday Night Football? I did this one. This was Thursday Night Football. Yeah, Monty has no control or bearing over whether Gibbs is going to have 3 TDs on any given game. Can we just say that right now and stop with the nonsense? I mean, really, why are people even putting their name to that? Talking bad about Gibbs on any level. Like, hey, Gibbs can't get 7. Don't even say Gibbs can't get 7 touchdowns. Don't even put that out there so that someone can say later, remember when you said Gibbs can't get 7 touchdowns? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to stop Gibbs? How's Monty going to stop Gibbs? Here's the Monday Night Football schedule, which is, let's see if it's as good as the Sunday night schedule. Jets in San Francisco. We know that one. That was a great matchup. Oh, man, look at that. I mean, we've already seen this, but, like, just the reminder, because you can't absorb it all, right? And then you come around the second time, you say Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football on my horse, watching the Falcons at the Eagles. That is maybe the most mouth-watering game yet. Jags, Buffalo, meh. Is that a double header? Is that a double header on week number? Wow. Is that a double header? So Washington at the Bengals. Okay. In week number 3. That's great. Week number 4, double header. Titans at the Miami Dolphins and Seattle at Detroit. Those are okay. Those are meh. I mean, you get this week 2, Falcons, Eagles, you're spoiled. You're like, you get any other matchup, you're like, ah! This is pretty good though. Like JD5, Burrow. I mean, actually, those are good. I think I'm just spoiled after this game here. Okay, so I love JD5 at Burrow. I love the Jaguars. You get Brian Thomas Jr. We get ETN. Buffalo Bills. Titans, Dolphins. Seattle, Detroit, halfway good. I mean, Seattle's got some intriguing players. I'm just not sure what to make of them yet. Saints, KC. KC should rock them, throttle them. Bills, Jets, great game. Ravens and Bucks in week number 7. And doubleheader, Chargers, Cardinals. Giants and Steelers in week number, 8? Week number 9, we got the Bucks and KC. We got Miami and the Rams in week number 10. I mean, this is a really good slate. And then, of course, week 17, we saw that. The Lions at Niners. This is where Gibbs is going to have his 3 touchdowns. Fantasy Dad's on the phones right now trying to trade all of his Monty shares after that. did he? Finns Titans was down the last second last year. Monday Night Football, says Jason. Jason's mad because I didn't give the week 4. What is it? This week 4 Titans Finns some love. Jason, I don't think anybody in here but Superfish, and we don't blame Superfish, thinks that this Dolphin Titan game can hold a candle to the majority of these games on here. Like, this game is like a preseason game to me compared to this game right here, Falcons and Eagles. We got birds going at it, bro. We got the Bills versus Jaguars, just beasts, animals at war. And then we've got the little Titans and a dolphin in a pool. Like, of course this doesn't feel as vicious and violent. You got Ravens and Bucks. We got what else we got? Texans and Cowboys. That's going to be a good game. Cowboys, Bengals, good. Bears, Vikings. And then this is probably the best Monday Night Football game. The Lions and Niners mixed with the Falcons and Eagles. And then the rest of them, like, they're pretty good. The Buffalo Bills, Jets, that could be really good. Hoping Aaron Rodgers is still healthy. It's a good slate, man. I'm really excited. I'm really pleased. Not that you wouldn't be pleased with the NFL schedule. I mean, it is what it is. You're going to get a lot of awesome games, and there's so many weeks to play. This is the NFL MVP odds as of this moment in time. Patrick Mahomes plus 525, Josh Allen plus 750, Joe Burrow plus 850, Stroud plus 900, Lamar plus 1100. You know what I don't see here that I think we could all maybe drop a little biscuit on? Jalen Hurts. What's Jalen Hurts odds going to be? Why is Jalen Hurts not even considered in this top, 5? I don't know, but I love it. I'm going to drop me a little Jalen Hurts action. Super Bowl or MVP odds, NFL MVP odds, and also Super Bowl appearance. I'm gonna do. Last year, I preseason nailed the Chiefs versus the Niners, and I got both sides of it. I got the Niners win, Chiefs versus Niners, Niners versus Chiefs win, and I hedged myself, and I won no matter what happened when I entered the Super Bowl. So that was fantastic, and I forgot I did it. And when my bracket didn't even have that when I did the NFL playoff bracket, so I did that in the preseason. My early prediction and advice for everybody, if you want some early Super Bowl odds goodness, is Chiefs versus the Eagles, and make the Eagles win. Chiefs versus the Eagles, make the Chiefs win, and just smash both of those. That's going to be my favorite, and I think that you could even do that in conjunction with the NFL MVP winner Jalen Hurts. That's kind of what I would consider doing. Let me hit some of these super chats real quick. I appreciate everybody's super chats coming in. You guys absolutely rock. You guys are the reason this show is here. So let me take care of you here. We're going to open the phone line briefly. We can talk schedule. You can ask me about a certain week. We can pull it up. We can talk about any week you want. Weekly winners came out on Underdog Fantasy. So we're going to do weekly winners. We're probably going to max out weekly winners here on the channel. That's 150 entries times $10. We're going to max out the Best Ball Mania. That's 150 entries times $25. Your boy Smitty's going at it hardcore this year. And we'll take care of some live drafting at night doing that bad boy, right? Both those bad boys. And weekly winners is so amazing because you can take this NFL playoff grid, right? And you can essentially put yourself in a position to draft a team around one basic week. Like, let's say we pull this up and we say, let's draft a team on weekly winners, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Link is in the description. Link is being dropped right this very second in the live chat. So click that link. The link's again in the description if you're watching the replay, and sign up using that code, and they'll double your first deposit, or match 50% match your first deposit up to $250. But if you look at this right here, you could literally say, look at all the bye weeks in week number 6. Okay, so week number 6 has a boatload of bye weeks. Week number 6, we have the Chiefs on a bye, we have the Rams on a bye, we have the Miami Dolphins on a bye, we have the Vikings on a bye, I mean, so you're missing JJ, you're missing Achan, you're missing Hill, you're missing Waddle, you're missing Kyron, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, you're missing Mahomes and all the Chiefs. So you could do the weekly winners and try and just draft the best team possible, like all Niners and Eagles or whatever, the best team possible in this week 6, because you're expecting to face the weakest competition if you consume the best players this week. And literally draft your team for one individual week on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, weekly winners. Because weekly winners, you draft once, you don't get to redraft, you don't get to add drop, you don't get to do anything. You draft once, and you draft once for 17 individual leagues kind of. Each week is a league standalone. They have nothing, no ties to the next. They don't add up to anything. You could lose all year long. Your entire team you draft in weekly winners could go missing on a hike and come back in week 17, all of them healthy, strong, ready to go, and play week 17, and you can win $20,000 in week 17 without them playing a single game all year long. You could draft all suspended players if they were suspended 16 straight weeks and only were playing week 17, and you could win week 17. You could grab players that were going to get hurt, all of them in week 2. Every single player you draft gets hurt in week 2 for the season. You could still win $20K in week 1. That's how weekly winners works. It's my absolute favorite Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Here's the link one more time, because we'll be doing a draft tonight on Underdog. We're doing a weekly winner draft on Underdog. You can bet your bottom dollar tonight. Calvin Krim, $5 hauler. Hey Smitty, just got 6 box seats to see JD5's first game, week 1 in Tampa. Just a friendly reminder for everyone to buy your tickets now if you can. Calvin Krim gonna be in the box, baby. I can't wait to hear your reaction of watching JD5 live, bro. Is Bijan's ankle hurt? Bijan's sitting out. There's nothing of concern or note right now. Look, people sit out when they come to camp. Until we hear something significant, we're not worried about a player sitting out in May. You know what I mean? Like, if he played on a bad ankle and got it worse, that's bad. If he sits out a week or a day or 2 days just because he might have, my ankle feels a little weird. Not a big deal, bro. We'll address anything like in May. We can't worry too much. Hamstrings would be a little bit more of a concern. Calf injuries would be a little more of a concern. An ankle, something like that. Not a high ankle sprain. Nothing significant. It's just maybe an ankle tweak. He doesn't want to do anything crazy. Take a week off. No big deal. Take 2 days off. We don't even know. Got offered McCarthy, JJ McCarthy, and Burrow for Stroud. Richardson, May, Rattler. Best ball dynasty. Do I accept? QBs are Richardson, May, Rattler.
Motion detected at the front door.
Ziggy, show me the front door. I'd probably say Ziggy off. I would probably say Burrow for Stroud. I got offered McCarthy, Burrow for Stroud. I'd probably keep Stroud. You got Richardson already. You got May. I'm not trading Stroud. I like Burrow a lot, but I don't mind having that reset, starting over. He's got so many years ahead of him. They're practically equal in value. One could say Burrow's more valuable than Stroud. One could say Stroud's more valuable than Burrow. I think Stroud's probably got more trade value. So I'd probably say I'd keep the Stroud side. McCarthy doesn't. I don't even care about McCarthy. No offense. I know Sick Nasty's in here. He loves McCarthy. I just don't get a good vibe about McCarthy. So I'm going to go ahead and say negative on that, Ghost Rider. Keep Stroud, or whatever side of the Stroud was. I want that side. Dial into the phone line, brought to you by theattic.shop.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Boy, I'm like a kid in the candy store right now with this schedule. This schedule is fantastic. Tonight, I'm going to work through the wee hours of the night, creating my strength of schedule, which will be sortable in a table on my channel. It's very, very useful. You could type in like Cincinnati, and then it'll pull up the Cincinnati players and tell you. So hang tight on that. Travis, keep Stroud, says Travis. Man, this is exciting. Dolphins going to the Super Bowl, says Raul. Okay, Raul. Well, I mean, you're entitled to that opinion. I appreciate it. I don't agree, but I appreciate it. can't hate anybody for a bold take, a bold prediction. You know. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. What's your name, pal? Where are you calling from? Okay. All right, dial in. Bird was unstoppable, says Jack of all trades. We talk about Larry Bird. Jason says keep Stroud. McCarthy looks and May both gonna be backups in 3 to 4 years, says Jason. I don't necessarily fully agree on the May part yet. I am worried about May a little bit right now, and I'm definitely worried about McCarthy. But May just needs to be developed right. My question would be, will New England develop him right? That would be my only concern, right? But I think May's got the talent to actually become something special. Kind of like Josh Allen needed Dable, and Dable turned him into a monster. I think Drake May needs somebody that can develop him properly. If he doesn't get that, I do have concerns. McCarthy, I think McCarthy is at his best. If someone develops him properly, at best he becomes a Jared Goff. That's like his best case scenario, though. It doesn't mean he's a guarantee to be that. That's a good quarterback. But I don't trust McCarthy right now. I don't think he came with the resume, and I certainly don't feel at ease watching him right now playing. Theo, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show.
Yo, would you trade Keon Coleman for a late 25 first in Superflex?
Keon Coleman for a late 25 first rounder. I mean, bro, that's a tough call. Like, are you capable of winning now? Are you in a rebuild? Are you positive it's a late pick? Are you just justifying it so you can make the trade? You know, or is it really going to be truly a late pick? I would say, like, Keon Coleman's worth a first rounder now, so he's worth a first rounder later. You know what I mean? If it's a late draft pick, then it is absolutely fine. If you believe in Keon Coleman, you want to own Keon Coleman. He is a first rounder. You're swapping a first rounder. The question is, does your assessment of it being a late first rounder hold true? And if it doesn't, then you could be losing value. But in a nutshell, I think it's dead even. And then if you're banking on Keon Coleman becoming the next Amon-Ra St. Brown, and let's not pretend he can't. You know, anybody that says, yeah, we had a lot of hate on the St. Brown take here on the channel. We had a lot of people saying, the St. Brown call of yours is ridiculous. St. Brown has been one of the best calls on the channel in the last 5 years. So, you know, he was kind of not out of nowhere, but he was definitely like not on radars to the tune he should have been. And we loved Amon-Ra. He was such a monster. He was such a monster coming out of his rookie year. People didn't really see it coming, but we did. And we touted it all off season long. And Amon-Ra hit the Moon Man list. He smashed. He's become a top 5 wide receiver in Dynasty to a lot of people. And anybody that says Keon Coleman can't become that. I'm not saying he will. If you believe he will be, then you need to trust your gut on it. But I would probably say it's probably pretty even right now, based on what we can expect out of Keon Coleman. I think he's got great drive, great determination, great situation, great skill set. Some things that made him lesser ranked than a couple other guys, but the situation might rectify and close the gap on that stuff. And he might mature really well under the tutelage of everything going on there in Buffalo. But I would say it's very even.
Yeah, no, I'd be the one trading away Keon because I drafted him at the 202.
I mean, that was a steal, or could be a steal. I don't know what to tell you other than it's even. Like, it really is, because there's a lot to go. There's a lot to guesstimate on this, you know. But if you don't necessarily
I really like him, but I don't know if I trust.
All right, let's get back to the schedule.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Theo. Call in if you got a schedule question. All right, thanks, Theo. I gotta go over the strength of schedule. I gotta figure out what I consider to be, because everybody's strength of schedule is wild to me. Everybody's is a little bit different. Some people account for just record. Some people account for yardage only. When I'm doing strength of schedule for RBs, it keeps into account the passing defense and the rushing defense in conjunction with each other to come up with a strength of schedule for RBs. I can't stand strength of schedule that doesn't consider both of those avenues. And I also can't stand strength of schedule that's just determined on the win-loss record or something very vague. Like, it needs to encompass everything for it to really be a true fantasy football strength of schedule tool, right? And that's why my tool on thefantasyfootballshow.com, you can get a discount of 10% using code DRAFT. That still works for a limited time until the codes run out. I think I created a bunch of them, but they're running out. So go to thefantasyfootballshow.com and get your lifetime membership. Links in the description of this video. And here is a link as well. And I'll drop the link and everything there. But I'll be having a strength of schedule tool created for the website, thefantasyfootballshow.com. So get ready for the utilization of that. Similar to when I talk about like the Kyren Williams information, like this data is going to also be on the website here very, very shortly. Like the running back rankings: Monty running back 16, Monty running back 21, Monty injured, Monty running back 2, Monty running back 5, and then Monty vanishes for pretty much the remainder of the year. Even upon coming back, it's all Jahmyr Gibbs. That's why that comment by Fantasy Dad was so funny. All this kind of data helps you win leagues, and it'll all be on the fantasyfootballshow.com. I'll be working through the next couple nights trying to get this content up for you. The tools, the data, the things that really, really help separate the men from the boys on draft day, mixed with all the other gut bold prediction stuff that we do here. People always think I don't, because I talk so much and I can't use stats the entire time I'm talking on a 2.5 hour show. So I get coined as somebody that just goes by his gut and flies by the seat of his pants. And it's like, that's not the case. We have a lot of data on the show. We pull up a lot of screens with a lot of numbers. Like, I find it a little bit offensive. Let's go to Jacob from Colorado live. What's up, Jacob?
How's it going? Question about redraft. 10-man. What I've noticed is the 9th and 10th spot is super. You can really stack. My question is, what kind of combo would you prefer? Because I'm usually ending up with, an AJ. Luckily, AJ Brown or Puka, AJ Brown or Marvin Harris.
AJ Brown and Marvin Harris. What did you just say?
Yeah. Marvin.
Marvin. Say his name again.
Marvin.
Marvin Harris?
Yes, sir.
You like Marvin Harris?
I like it better.
Show some respect for Marvin Harrison. Okay.
Hey, at least I'm picking him up early. But
anyway. I know, but like this is like the Biaggia, the Mike Biaggia who calls in. We renamed him. Your new name is going to be
Bijan.
Yeah, Bijan. Like, I mean, what are we doing here? Marvin, Jake from Colorado, aka Marvin Harris. What's up? Okay, ask me the question again. I totally got sidetracked by that.
That 9th and 10th spot, you can really stack on wide receivers or go with your gut with Jahmyr Gibbs. But what combo would you rather play in it? Because I've noticed you can stack yourself with an AJ and a Puka sometimes. AJ and a Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs with Puka. Or you can double stack wide receivers. It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean,
a 10-man.
Yeah, so in a non-best ball, stacking doesn't really do anything for you, bro. I'm drafting the best player available. Stacking is merely for fun. There's some advantage to it if you do end up drafting a team. So in the example you give, it's a good one if you want to try and talk about an advantage. The Rams are going to score a lot almost all the time. And it doesn't matter if they have a tough matchup. They're almost like matchup proof, this team. They were so good last year against no matter what. They'd play the Niners. Oh, the Niners defense is going to shut down Kyren. I don't think so. Kyren ran all over him. So, like, there's definitely teams that you could say, okay, if I stack the Chief players, if I stack the Bengal players, if you believe in the Bengals this year, if I stack the Rams, you're going to have less games of you're going to have like 2 or 3 games where the whole team doesn't do well. But the thing you'll find is that in non-best ball, you will a lot of times lose and think you're going to have some advantage by having the entire team of one really good team. I did a draft on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, where I drafted all the Kansas City Chiefs during a pretty good Kansas City Chief year. And I draft every single Kansas City Chief player. And I didn't have much depth at all, but I got every single one of them. And this was, actually, no, this was not Underdog. This is just in a draft on Sleeper. And I did it in a draft. It was a paid league. I think it was an expert league. It was an expert league, too. I forced it. There was one player I couldn't get, so I had to trade for him. So I had to take a bath on a trade in order to get all the Kansas City Chiefs players. And that team got crushed. It got crushed, bro. It had Tyreek. This is back when Tyreek Hill. It had Tyreek Hill. It had Mahomes. It had Kelsey. It had the running back stable. All the running backs, the combinations. Back then it was CEH and I believe who else at that time. I forget if it was 2 years ago. But it got crushed, bro. Stacks and non-best ball are not that important. They're not.
Yeah.
Take the best player available, bro. Every single time.
So you're saying you would? I think I know the answer, but Jahmyr Gibbs obviously over Marvin.
His name's not Marvison, bro.
That's a solid. That's a lock.
Why you keep calling him Marvison? Are you
going to the moon?
Are you meaning to though?
Yeah.
Or is it something that's hard to say? Like, you could be honest. We're just trying to figure out if that's your new nickname for him, or if you're
Marvelous Marvin. I like that one.
Okay, but can you say his name? Let me hear you say his name properly though, one time.
Marvis Harrison.
That's not his name.
Marvison. What's what? Merit version.
Do you really not know how to say his name? Like, be honest.
I'm saying Marvison. Marvin Harrison Jr. I like the combo of Marvison though.
Okay. Anyway, what was your last question, bro? You're throwing me off with this.
No, that was it, because I just noticed, when redraft comes about, there's that 9th and 10th spot can be really good or really bad. No, it looks really good. I mean,
look, 9 and 10 could be great for running back. Running back, if you can get some people to leave some wide receivers.
Yeah,
but you
that
can't.
Running back core later on is so valuable too. You got a lot of players still.
You do, but if you have, let's say, Gibbs and Breece Hall at 10 and 11 in a 10-man league turn, you're smashing everybody's running backs to pieces, and you're getting a DK and Devontae Smith and Debo potentially in a 10-man. You're getting at least 2 of those guys, and I don't care. I don't need to force Nico and DJ Moore and these second round, wastes of space second rounders to me. Like, I love Nico, but not in the second round. I mean, hell no.
No, when I've been just doing some mocks, those are the players I'm ending up with. It's either AJ, Puka, you got Marvin Harris, and then Jahmyr. Those are my top next best players.
Okay.
So.
All right, yeah. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a phenomenal second round pick in a 10-man. All right, I appreciate you. Later, bro.
Later.
I don't know what the hell was going on there. Jack of all trades, King of Mars, Marvelous Marvin. Now that's a name that I can get behind. $5 hauler. Coble dropping 10 gifted memberships. What a monster Coble is. And I think maybe somebody dropped maybe more. So 10 gifted memberships from Coble. Coble, thank you, bro. Unbelievable. Coble to the moon. Coble getting a $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
I mean, what a monster. What a monster. Coble to the moon. Appreciate you, Coble, dropping that wattage. We've got super chats that are I believe, still needing to be answered. Hang tight for me, Elvis, if you can mute real quick. Coble, thanks again, pal. This one here, thoughts on rookie Vidal in Dynasty. Love him. I love him. His Dynasty value is really low. You can grab him pretty easily. I've seen him go in like the 3rd and 4th round. I've seen him go as high as 2, but kind of in like Snipe City mode, but not really in the real world. Vidal's been a free agent after a 3-round rookie mock draft. I've seen plenty of times. Vidal's really good. Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins are in front of him. Do I need to say more? Like, it doesn't even matter if Vidal's good. He's going to get a shot. So if he gets a shot because Gus Edwards and J.K. are the only running backs in front of him, if he's good, this is great. He's going to get a crack at it. And the cost of entry is like nothing. So if he doesn't work out, big deal. You know, you got him at the end of your rookie draft. It's not a big deal whatsoever. Coble dropping a $5 hauler. Here's some tickets to the greatest fantasy football show out there. So grab your popcorn, put the feet up, and enjoy the moon ride. Thank you, Coble, for dropping the super chat wattage on screen. Jack of all trades says, King of the Mars, when do buys start? Buys. I think he means BYEs. When do buys start, and when do the buys end this year? In your opinion, when's buy apocalypse? The buys begin, it looks like, according to this, and you can screenshot this real quickly, my guy. That way, you know, you have it. So I'll give you guys a second to screenshot this. But it looks like you've got buys in week number 5. Week number 5. So I don't see any bye weeks until week number 5. It looks like they end in week 14. They don't return again like they have in previous years. Bye Mageddon looks like it could probably be a combination of, good God, week 12. Look at this one for week 12. You have the Atlanta Falcons, Bijan, London, the quarterbacks, Kyle Pitts. You've got Josh Allen, Cook, and Keon Coleman and Kincaid. You've got the Bengal brothers going to be out. You got Jacksonville, ETN, all those guys, BTJ. You got New Orleans. You got Olave out. You've got the Jets, Breece Hall. Like, Bye Mageddon's probably week 12, I would imagine. This week right here, you got Houston and Indy. That's pretty big. Houston, Indy, Detroit. Houston, Indy, Detroit, and Baltimore. That's huge. I almost think there's multiple. JD5, New England. You almost have multiple Bye Mageddons. You got a mini Bye Mageddon week 14. You definitely got a Bye Mageddon, maybe the biggest one in week 12. You certainly got this week 6 travesty with KC and the Rams and Miami Dolphins and the Vikings. That's a tough one. I'd say week 12. So far, week 12 looks like the toughest one. Detroit Lions. Oh, didn't I say Detroit earlier? Oh, it's Denver, not Detroit. I'm sorry. So week 14 doesn't have Denver or Detroit. It has Denver. I misread it. So week 14's got, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's got Baltimore, so Lamar and the boys, Derrick Henry. It's got, oh wait, hold on. It was week 12. Atlanta, Buffalo, Bengals, Jacksonville, New Orleans, and the Jets. So Breece Hall and the boys. That's a tough one. Week 6 is bad too. I don't know. There's multiple Bye Mageddons. I would say there's 3 weeks that are really, really bad in general. Jack of all trades, appreciate you dropping that super chat. We got Jack of all trades coming in strong again. King of the Mars, man. Marvelous Marvin. Again, appreciate that. Kenny Powers dropping a super chat, $2 hauler. Like and subscribe if you want to win your league. And he also left me a message. I'm going to play that real quick. He had a voicemail he wanted to get answered. So let me play that real quick. And then we'll actually, let me hit the super chat real quick from Young. So this is going to be from Kenny, this message. Marvis the Martian says, Young, I don't understand that. Okay, anyway, let me go to Kenny. Where's Kenny's message? Here's Kenny's message.
Hey, Smitty, I've identified Connor and Benson and then Moss and Brown as duos that can get you RB2 production later in drafts. Are there any other duos like this that you can pick up later in drafts where you feel comfortable owning both of them to make up RB2 production? Yeah, so that's a good question. And Benson and Connor are number 2 on my cuff board. And the cuff board is going to probably indicate where these opportunities could be. You got Monty Gibbs, but that's an early Gibbs and a semi-early Monty, so that doesn't count. Warren and Harris are going almost exactly where Benson and Connor are going, so this is absolutely the next probably best bet. I think Miller and Kamara is kind of crafty because Miller's got a lot of upside. Walker and Sharps are kind of not as late as Benson and Connor, but it's one of those scenarios. Pollard and Spears, kind of, but Pollard can go a little earlier than I think Benson and Connor, so maybe that doesn't qualify in our mind, right? Zach Moss and Brown are probably next up, so I'd say it would be Benson, Connor, Warren, and Harris, both going in like the 80s and 90s on Underdog Fantasy, code Smitty.
And then the Zach Moss going in the 90s and 100s has got to stop. I mean, it doesn't have to stop. I want to keep enjoying it. But it's crazy. It's disrespectful. Zach Moss is the starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, going to get a lot of work, and Chase Brown's even cheaper. Vidal and the Charger running backs, I don't go near that. I just take Vidal standalone. Shipley's a cuff. You've got Herbert, Rochonneau. You've got the Buffalo Bill backups though, but they're together, and I would say like Eckler and potentially Brian Robinson could be something like that, but I don't know where Brian Robinson is going in non-best ball. It's tough to say, but I would say those would be my top guesses of what you could find value-wise across any league and format would be Benson Connor, Warren Harris, Zach Moss and Brown. And then you might see Kamara, Miller, Charbonnet and Walker, and Spears and Pollard, and those guys would be kind of next up. You also can get Mostert and Jalen Wright pretty cheap if you wanted to just cuff those two alone. And if Mostert goes down, Wright goes in. So I'd say Wright and Mostert are kind of a crafty, non-related to Achane kind of handcuff combo. And then if you have Achane, you want to draft Wright or Mostert or both of them if you're drafting Achane. So that's kind of my take on that. Thank you for dropping that question, my boy. What else you got? Phone lines are open. Please ask something relating to the schedule. What's up, Elvis? You got any schedule-related questions before we dig into some fantasy question you got?
I don't. I just have a weird situation that happened with Underdog.
All right, okay, hit me with it, but I can't control any support questions. If you've got anything, you got to go through them.
No. It's just it's never happened before.
Okay,
well, I've
hit
been
me with it.
listening to your show for a while, as you know. Well, I finished a draft and absolutely smashed it. I mean, just like hit after hit, and things fell my way. And I got an email from Underdog saying they disqualified my draft, essentially because they thought it was too good. I mean, that's the only way I could read that email. So I was wondering if you'd ever had other listeners happen.
I mean, I don't know that you sure it read that way? It wasn't more like, hey, somebody in there was drafting Nathan Peterman in round 1 and screwing with the entire.
Well, they didn't say. Yeah, they said something about integrity testing because of this draft raised multiple secret.
Yeah, but did they say your draft was so glorious that's why we're shutting it down, or are you assuming? You're assuming.
No, I'm assuming because it was unbelievable. It's the best draft I've had so far.
I know, but
it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Tell me your team. Give me your team. Let me be the judge of that.
I'll 12 rounds or 12 players, as you know, and I'll go from first round to the last.
Okay.
Bijan, Kyren, DJ Moore, Lamar, Keenan Allen.
Hold on.
Bijan, you don't write it. My bad.
Bijan, Kyren, DJ Moore,
Lamar Jackson, Keenan Allen, Keon Coleman, Evan Ingram, Brock Bowers, Jaden Daniels, Austin Eckler, Khalil Shakir, Jahan Dotson, Josh Downs, Adam Thielen, Trevor Hubbard.
I
Justin
don't
Fields.
Look. Hey, you're my boy, Elvis. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all, because it's a good team, but the league did not get shut down because of your draft.
Oh, thank God. Okay, well then that makes me feel better.
I'm not saying it's not good, but this team did not make me change my drawers, bro. Like that would be. I don't think Underdog sat around a boardroom and goes, guys, we got a problem here. This guy, in one single swoop, won Best Ball Mania before it's even began. The integrity of the entire Underdog system is coming crashing down because he got Keenan Allen and DJ Moore stacked together as his wide receiver 1 and 2. Oh man, Elvis!
I thought you'd enjoy that.
I do enjoy it. I do. I'm not trying to disrespect it, but
no, never disrespect. You never disrespect.
I may venture to say that's not the best team in that draft. Maybe. So maybe somebody.
Fair enough.
If somebody drafted a Peterman or something stupid in round 1 or 2, because those guys can ruin the draft. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. You might want to look at it. Look at the board. Did anybody get taken in rounds 1, 2, or 3 that was weird? Can you look at the board? Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I can pull it up real quick. I think if I remember correctly, somebody might have picked Kyler Murray round 1.
There you go. That sound in the background, is that the missus smashing your phone saying, you didn't win? I already spent the money.
No.
Honey, we won Best Ball Mania. Millions of dollars are already being shipped.
It's my 17-month-old daughter smashing the cup on the ground, smiling at me as she does
bro, you genuinely got a couple people laughing in here about the. Not that your team's bad. It's just the setup for that. We were expecting you to have Kyron, Bijan, and Marvin Harrison fell to the 3rd round, and then Hurts fell, and then Kelsey fell, and then you still got Mike Evans, and then you just kept piling it on. We weren't expecting Keenan Allen and DJ Moore to be the wide receiver 1 and 2. I think that's where someone D-Town says you broke the code. He's sitting there going up, down, left, right, A-B select start. He hit enter, and Underdog just opened up. It said finish him, and he did a whole Mortal Kombat. Oh my god, that was hilarious, bro. The missus is out spending money like a mad woman right now, right? You told her we won, baby. We won.
Yeah, she was gonna go shopping. I messed that up.
Max out the credit card, Pam. Max it out.
I do have a schedule question, real quick. Which team do you think has the worst fantasy schedule?
It literally dropped. It dropped on the live stream, and I've been talking since. There's zero chance for me to evaluate this in time. But I don't know. I would say based on what we've heard, there was some on the strength of schedule prior. I think, but that was all based on record and stuff, and I didn't really like a lot of those. I don't know. I would say looking at it briefly, I don't know if I could even. There's so much data right in front of my face right now. I don't know it's gonna be easy to see all the changes on defense. I love that people judge the Eagles or judge the Cardinals as an easy matchup. I think it's kind of silly when we use previous records at all to predict what's going on. And if you don't factor in that the Cardinals got better and drafted probably their solutions at cornerback, and you start saying the Cardinals are an easy matchup, and you don't take into account the draft, and I do in my strength of schedule, I think you're giving people bad information, and they're judging everything off of a product that is expired, So I'll have to break it down. I'd be reckless for telling you that I felt like I knew the bet. I mean, this is going to take some analysis, bro, and it just dropped. But, you look at Dallas, and because especially we're taking into account the later part of the year, too, in fantasy. So, when you say who's got the worst schedule, we got to worry about week 17, 16, and 15. Now we have that information, so now I can actually deploy it. If we go over, let's go over to just weeks 17, 16, and 15. Let's maybe just look at that real quick. So, I'm trying to just glance down and see who's got horrible matchups. KC, Cincinnati. Okay, let me just take a look. I'm glancing, bro. I might miss something. I'm spitballing it here. You got New York. Okay, no. Cleveland, Houston, Pittsburgh. Who's that? Who's Cleveland, Houston, Pittsburgh? Houston's a very, very underrated defense. KC's got Cleveland, Houston, Pittsburgh. That's pretty rough, bro. That's pretty rough in weeks 15, 16, 17. This is KC.
Yeah, and that's outdoors too.
Yeah, I mean Cleveland's going to be tough on D regardless of what's going on. They got 5 quarterbacks practically, so Houston's going to be unbelievable on D this year, and Pittsburgh's a good D. That's an interesting one. San Francisco, New York, Arizona. Who's that? I mean Arizona. You could say, like I said, people are going to say that that's a walk in the park. That's the Rams. But those are two. Those could be two tough matchups in week 15 and 16, and then week 17. If you get through, you're going to get the Cardinals. But again, I don't know if the Cardinals would be a walk in the park. This one right here, Houston, San Francisco, Cleveland. Who's that? Houston, San Francisco, Cleveland. That is the Miami Dolphins. Woo! Doggy. Hey, this is a good topic. I'm glad you brought this up. I can't digest it all very quickly, but this is a good topic, and we're identifying a couple things here. Houston, San Francisco, Cleveland. Now, but again, San Francisco could fall apart. They got a new defensive coordinator. They got sideline Nick, whatever the hell his name is. So, you had sideline Steve. Now you got sideline Nick. And I think Niner fans are not even confident. I don't think, Raj even said on his live stream in front of everybody to me, he doesn't know about this guy. And so I'm not too sure what the Niner defense is going to look like. But if Houston's as good as I think they're going to be, and on top of that, New York right before that, bro. New York right before that. So you got New York, Houston, San Francisco, Cleveland. Let me see if I can go back. What was that? It was New York Jets in week 18 too. But so Cleveland, San Francisco, Houston, New York Jets. That was Miami. Put a fork in Miami. Put a fork in Miami. That's a. I'm sorry, Superfish or any of my Miami people. That's a really tough ending to a season. You got New Orleans, Cincinnati. Hold on. I'm looking. Philadelphia, Baltimore, KC. Who's that? That's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Washington, Dallas, Baltimore, Atlanta, Indy. Yeah, I mean, at a glance, I would say KC. Concerns for KC, concerns for Miami. Those would be my two initial takeaways just by looking at the tail end of the schedule, if that helps anybody. Man.
I was just going to look. I'm glad you went through it the way you did. But in my head, I was just thinking about, from a division standpoint, I feel like the Bengals, Jamar Chase in particular, he's kind of in a weird situation because they don't have Mixon on the ground anymore, and all those defenses in their division are incredible.
Yeah, but is Mixon? To be honest with you, bro, I think Zach Moss is better than Mixon right now. I think if you put Zach Moss on you put Zach Moss on the roster last year, he does better than Mixon did. So I'm not worried about that. And Chase Brown's very, very exciting. So it's a crafty running back room. I admit I was kind of not excited when we didn't get Barkley or Henry or Jacobs in that Cincinnati Bengal offense. But, as time went on, like hours, maybe days, I started to really kind of love the idea of Zach Moss in that offense and what Zach Moss has been able to prove. We've typecasted him. From Buffalo. We still are not accepting what we saw in Indy was real, but he was good. He was solid. He's crafty. JD5 versus Caleb Williams in week 7 says rock out. I love it, rock out. I love it, rock out. Thank you for dropping that golden nugget. There's so many great things to look at. It's so hard to digest this. That's a good game. Atlanta losing week 1 says Kenny. Woo! Kenny coming in hot on the Pittsburgh Steeler and Atlanta Falcon week 1 game right here. Kenny's coming in swinging. I
miss Aaron Rodgers. I'm really excited for that first game.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers game.
I love the schedule drop. This is kind of like a mini Christmas, I love the draft. I love the schedule drop. I love the free agency day 1. I love, it's so good. It's so good. Atlanta, LAC, Chicago, and New Orleans have the easiest schedule. Atlanta, says John. Says who there's probably some stats that say it, but we got to look at it because, again, defense has changed. So let's look at Atlanta. Let's see if we feel like, and I can't digest this all in one sitting here, but let me look at Atlanta only. Pittsburgh, tough game. Philadelphia, tough game. That could be 0-2. Atlanta could be 0-2. They could be 1-1 coming out of week number 2. KC, what do you mean Atlanta's got the easiest schedule? So from a football perspective, they don't. They definitely don't, in my opinion. From a fantasy perspective, it's still tough right here. New Orleans, Bucks, Carolina, Seattle. So we get on a streak here. Tampa Bay. So let's say they lose. I mean, there's three games they could lose in KC, Philly, Pittsburgh, and then New Orleans, Tampa, Carolina, Seattle. That's really good. Tampa Bay again. Tampa Bay's not a walk in the park. It's just those are games that I think the Falcons, the way that the Falcons will play, will win. I think they could win all these games. So I'm in agreement so far right here. It does open up. Damn, their schedule does get good. Dallas is tough. Then New Orleans, Denver, bye week, Chargers. They could be tough at this point defensively. Minnesota's a nice game. Vegas, we'll see. Giants, easy. Washington, I think, could be a good game, but it might be, not super tough fantasy-wise. Yeah, that's okay. I don't know that I would say that looks like the easiest schedule, though. Cardinals at Buffalo, Rams, Detroit. God, what a tough 3 games. Buffalo, Rams, Detroit, Washington, San Francisco. Cardinals are getting screwed every year on schedule. Unbelievable. Last year we had one of the toughest schedules too. Buffalo, LAR, Detroit, Washington, San Francisco, Green Bay. Come on, Chargers, come on. Miami, Chicago, New York Jets, Seattle. We went over this the other day. And I feel like these weren't all the teams that we went through, but damn, it just looks worse. Now the ending is nice. The Cardinals, if they're even like close to playoff contending after week 10, going to the bye week, Seattle, Minnesota, Seattle, New England, Carolina, LAR, and then San Francisco. And what if San Francisco is not even playing for anything at this point? Maybe the Cardinals can win that game. That's a very good finish, though. I would say it's not the worst in the NFL, probably. It's tough looking at these schedules, man. Let's see, the Buffalo Bills, Miami, Arizona, Jacksonville. They could start off 3-0. Baltimore's tough. Houston's tough. Jets tough. Wow. 3-0 to 3-3? it means possible. Tennessee, Seattle, Miami, Indy. Those are all good games, so you could get back on track there. KC, bye week. San Francisco, those are tough. LAR, it's tough. Detroit, tough. New England, Jets, tough. This is for Baltimore. These are spotty. Did I say Buffalo? I think I said Buffalo on that. That's Baltimore. I'm mixing them up. My little indicator's like floating, and I'm messing up. Detroit's got LAR, Tampa, Arizona, Seattle, bye week, Dallas, Minnesota, Tennessee, Green Bay, Houston, Jacksonville, Indy, Chicago, Green Bay. It's tough to judge it, bro. I really have to do a full breakdown because you can't even retain 4 or 5 of those, and then you got to jump to the next one, and I don't even know. I can't absorb all that. This is going to be a fantastic night tonight, crunching this data. Crunching the data. All right, anything else, Elvis? Appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for everybody humbling me on my draft.
Yeah.
I thought I'd kill it, but I didn't.
You might want to cut the misses off on the credit card and just wait for that.
That's tough. You gotta win the war and lose the battle.
All right, thanks, Elvis. Later.
Appreciate you, man.
That was funny though. Elvis did provide us with some entertainment. He's like, I think I broke Underdog. $2 holler, ouch, get those forks out. It's way too early, says Superfish. I'm sorry, Superfish. Thank you for the super chat. This is a tough schedule. The schedule for the Dolphins is rough at the end of the year. But maybe you've got enough wins at that point, stockpiled. Smitty, I what's it say? Smitty, I think he means could. I could be biased, but how are the Jets tougher to play for Buffalo than Miami upgraded their entire offense? I'm not saying that's crazy that the Miami Dolphins could be one of the tougher teams in the AFC. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's all on Tua, really. So they have a lot of talent. I love a lot of the Miami Dolphin players, but Miami Mike has kind of been falling short, but maybe he takes a big step forward. So I'm not against this. The Jets, they have an amazing defense. They have amazing top, 7 potential wide receiver in Garrett Wilson. They have a top 1 to 3 running back in Breece Hall. The Miami Dolphins have similar talent. They're arguably the 1 or 3 wide receiver. It's very comparable. I don't think that one's a walk in the park. I just think Miami has a little bit more concern with the Tua Tagovailoa piece of it because he goes down or plays bad. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers, though. We saw what happened with that. So they've got equal risk What's up, Bob from Cali, and then Marsman, Jack of all trades. I'll be with you in 1 second. Bob, Marsman gets to jump, leapfrog over Bob because he's got a Marsman card. Sorry, Bob. Marsman, Jack of all trades. Use your Marsman card, son. What can I do for you? You're live.
I like that week 2 game, Bills versus the Dolphins in Miami. Nice warm weather.
Week 2,
that rock all around.
Week 2, Buffalo Bills versus Miami right here. Okay, yeah. That's gonna be fun.
I also like the way the Jets schedule is setting up. It looks pretty promising.
New York Jets
fantasy points all year round.
New York Jets go up against San Fran week 1, Tennessee, New England, Denver, Minnesota, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, New England, Houston, Arizona, Indy, bye week, Seattle, Miami, Jacksonville, LAR, Buffalo, Miami. Miami, yeah. Look at the Eagles. Eagles, Green Bay, Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa. So that could easily be like a 2-2 or a 3-1 record. So at that point, I mean, Green Bay and Atlanta will be tough.
Question here.
But I think they could literally be 4-0 too. What's up?
So say if the year before you finished second in the division, do you play all the second place teams when you're playing out of division?
I don't know how they calculate everything in terms of there's so much to it. I mean, the fact that they can do what they do, and on top of that, find the best matchups that have like the controversial situations, like when Deshaun Watson was coming back, and he was back from his suspension, and he goes up against the Houston Texans, like his first game back.
Yeah.
Like, so, bro, it's crazy how they figure this stuff out.
Hey, good news out of Brown's camp. He's throwing 40 yards. He may be able to start the season.
He got that new back tattoo that's causing drama all over the internet. I don't know if you know why, but I don't want to say because it's really callous what people are saying. But if you look at his new back tattoo, and you just go to the comments, people are just ripping apart his back tattoo.
Oh God, I hope it doesn't get infected.
He's getting massively beat up on that one. All right, hey, appreciate you, Jack. Hang tight. I'll put yourself on mute if you got another question. Chime in a second. Right. Bob from Cali, what can I do for you, Bob? You're live.
First off, how do you get these Marsman cards? I know, like, they have absolute priority during the season. And then second question would be based off of, like, if you're not doing any math or yards or defense-wise, you just go based solely off of the other team's winning percentage. I thought Atlanta, LAC, New Orleans, Chicago. I know the Jets aren't there, but I'll put the Jets there. Out of those 5 teams, considering they have a relatively easy schedule, are there any players you're going like, yes, I want that. I looked at the Chargers schedule, and I think they had Denver, the Raiders, and then New England the last 3 weeks. So I'm liking that.
Yeah, so we went over the week 17, 16, and 15 a little bit, and we came up to the conclusion that the Dolphins and the Chiefs had a rough go. As far as like easy matchups for week number 15, 16, 17, I'm going to dig into it. I'm going to have a better sense of it later, but like taking a glance at it and just, trying to figure out what pops out, I would say, I really have to look at it. I'm spitballing it here, but there are a lot of teams that have some decent matchups. Cincy, Indy, Jacksonville. Who is that? Cincy, Indy, Jacksonville. That's the Titans. Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into it, bro. And I don't go off of what you're talking about. I get why you're going off of the winning percentage, but that has nothing to do with it for me. That has nothing to do with it. And not to mention, like I said, the Cardinals are going to get a bad shake by people judging the defense, and they're going to be much improved on D. Houston's going to be potentially a top 5 defense, maybe. So they're going to be undervalued by people. And so these schedules, you got to account for that. I'm going to account for it, and I'm going to dig into it. Pittsburgh's going to be really tough on D this year. And I know there's some holdout situations today that brewed up, but Buffalo, they should be able to be thrown on. Let's see here. Dallas is opportunistic, but you can score and throw yards on them. Philly's gonna be dangerous on D. I think they're gonna be so undervalued. Philly's gonna be undervalued on D. Who's Philly play in week number 17? Philly in week 17 plays who? Here we go. Philly in week 17 plays Dallas. So that's a tough matchup. And Dallas has Tampa, Carolina, and Philly, so not bad until that Philly matchup. They're tough. I mean, it's tough. Like, looking at it, bro, it's almost like this year more than ever, when you think you have something, and you're like, oh, you got a good week 16, week 15 matchup, they have a tough week 17 matchup or something. So we'll dig into it later. I don't have answers for you yet because it just came out. So I'm spitballing it live.
That, and then how do you get these Marsman cards? Are you gonna do that? Like
so Marsman cards, we basically, it was like selling a lifetime content membership, a little bit more than that, to have the card access, to have the ability to call in, especially if the phone lines are closed. Not in the monologue. No one can break through in the monologue. I have people that try and call in on the monologue. I don't answer. Like in the beginning when I'm going through the news or something, I literally am attacking that. But any other time, like when the show's ending, or if I'm close to the phone lines, or I'm not adding any more people, I'm like, okay, let me wrap up. And a Marsman calls, I answer the phone. I put them on so it's like a breakthrough card. We had the Marsman cards were sold, and you got a spot in the Marsman League as well. That was also part of it. You also got a spot in there was the Moonman cards as well. But the Marsman cards are the only cards that break through. There's no more to be sold because there's only 12 spots in the league. But I might open up Saturn Man cards or Pluto cards or something, and I'm going to talk to my Marsmen about it to make sure they feel comfortable with it, because I don't want to devalue their product at all by selling these one-time cards. But I don't feel like the Marsman card capability is so overwhelming that it would be diluted by doing another 12 and doing another league of some sort. But we'll have to see. I'm gonna figure it out. But you can't buy a Marsman card, but you may buy a Saturn card. And I'd obviously give Marsman a shot at potentially. I don't know. I have to figure out how to do that. I have to figure out if maybe my maybe I make a card that maybe it has to be lower than Marsman. We got Moonmen, we got Marsmen. Maybe these will be Asteroid Men, so that it's not higher than the Marsman card, because Saturn technically is higher than the Marsmen. So it's like it becomes complicated. If anybody's wives are watching, the wives are probably going, "What the hell are you watching over there? What is this? What you spend your time on? This guy's talking about Marsmen cards and Moonmen and who's going to be a spaceman, a Pluto man, who's going to Saturn. Like, what are you watching? This guy sounds like a nutbag. Is this a new church that you're going to?" All right, hang tight, Bob. Let me go over to Marsman Rock Out. You are live. Thank you, Terry, for the $2 hauler, saying, "Smitty, what's up with the Arizona Cardinals getting dumbed again?" They got smashed on the schedule. Cardinals got a horrible schedule, and it's rough to begin with. It opens up later, but they got a maybe they win. Maybe it's good. Maybe the Cardinals get a high draft pick and they bring in top defensive player in the NFL. Maybe they bring in the next Joe Alt. I don't know. Marsman Rock Out. What can I do for you?
Can I get an opinion on one of the drafts I was doing?
Yeah, did you shut down Underdog?
Maybe.
Who was it that just called in? I already forgot. Who was it that shut down Underdog? It was... Who was that? Who was it? Anybody remember who it was? Damn it.
I don't remember.
I forget. Okay, go ahead. Rock Out. God, I can't remember anything like that. I have to remember everything else, so I don't remember the smaller things.
Only my first three picks.
All right, go ahead.
Jefferson at number 6, Achane at number 19, and Jacobs at number 30.
Love it. I love it. I think Jacobs, be careful taking Jacobs in the third if you think you can now get him in round 4. Because his ADP has dropped into 4. But if you got a late 4th rounder, you won't get him, so you kind of got to jump early, and I'm fine with that.
3.6.
Yeah, I'm fine with taking him early, but he does sometimes fall to round 4. So, like, you know, what if you could get this? This is what you potentially be on your way to breaking your draft and having Underdog email you. Say, we might need to close down your draft. Like JJ, Achane, Hurts, Jacobs, like that just that little difference. If you can get Jacobs in round 4 is huge.
It was basically between him and DK or Devontae Smith.
I like Devontae Smith and Jacobs about the same at that 3rd round territory. But you could almost, like I said, get Jacobs in 4 and then you get Devontae Smith in 3, or you get Devontae Smith in 4 and Jacobs in 3. It could work out both ways.
Yep.
Anything else, Jack of all trades? Any other topics of interest for you? Schedule related is great. If not, I'll still answer it. No problem.
I'm kind of envious of Bob having a Mirror Man card. He can spell his name backwards, forwards.
Yeah, Bob, B-O-B, B-O-B. Do it live. How do you like that guy that couldn't pronounce
I got a tattoo on my ass that says "Mom," but when I stand on my hands, it says "Wow."
That's a good one. Hey, what do you think about the guy that couldn't say Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Well, you did say Marvin Harris, pretty good.
Yeah, but even when I asked him, he couldn't quite do it, and then he did it at the end, but then he reverted back. I've known people that
kind of like a brain lock. He's good.
He's good. He's defending him. Jack of all trades is a man of the people.
All right, what are you going to do? I'll talk to you later.
Hey, Jack, you got anything else? That's it?
Oh, I don't know. I'm walking the dog. He's pulling the phone out of my hand. So
all right.
I'm good.
All right, pause. Later, Jack. Appreciate you. Jack of all trades. Bob from Cali, final thoughts.
Do you think Amon-Ra can be the number 1 this year?
Amon-Ra be the number 1? Could he be? Sure. Will he be? I'd probably not bet on that. I think Amon-Ra being like 3, 4, 5 is like super high for him, and that's great. Like he's wide receiver 3 or 4. That's amazing, you know. But do I feel like he's wide receiver 1? Probably not, but would not put it past him. Don't tell him I said that. He'll literally come for me. London. Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good question. Nabbage says London for Brian Thomas Jr. and a mid-25 first rounder, rebuild or no. I'd probably say, that's so tough. It's a good trade offer. Like the mid, you know, you don't know if it's a mid first, but you're guessing and you think it's going to be. That's not bad. But I would probably lean London. I just think London's going to be worth it, bro. So, Nabbage, I'm going to say negative on that one.
You've just been...
You haven't been Smitty disapproved, but I'm going to disapprove the trade offer. I'd rather have London, but Brian Thomas Jr. is great. The mid first rounder. The only thing I would say is like two Brian Thomas Jr.'s are unknown. Like a Keon Coleman and Brian Thomas Jr. That's what you could end up with, and you give away London top 5 wide receiver potential. So I'm going to say no. Give me London. Jason from Cali, you're live. Bob, hold tight, rock out, hold tight, and then I'm gonna, with you guys on mute, if you could all mute, but Jason, I'm gonna talk about Ben Sinnott. Go ahead, Jason. Before we get to that, go ahead.
I just wanted to talk quickly about the schedule. I don't know, did you already notice the Super Bowl rematch week 7?
Did I also notice the what?
You cut out. Did you see the Super Bowl rematch on week 7? We got SF and KC.
Yeah, that was very very
then,
intriguing, right here.
Okay, and then I was also looking. There's a Baltimore-Buffalo matchup. I just think Baltimore's gonna have some fun games this year.
Yeah, Baltimore, Buffalo. Look, Washington. What I love about this right here, this Washington. God, what was it? I forget. I think it was week. It's intriguing to look at the Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night. I think it was Sunday night football. Let me see if I can find the Sunday night football. Where is that at? I got it here somewhere. I don't know if this was it. Was it Thursday Night Football? It was, oh man, that week, I don't know if this was it, and I'm just remembering it different, but I love this. This week 11 Washington Commanders at Eagles. So you got two amazing running quarterbacks. Just exciting. The week 10 Thursday Night Football Bengals at Ravens. That's fun. I don't know if that's what I was looking for. There's so much to digest, man. There's so much to look at. The Monday night stuff is fantastic. The disrespect on the Super Bowl or the MVP odds is unreal for Jalen Hurts. He's not even being talked about. Where's this other graphic I had somewhere? Damn it, where is it? Monday Night Football. Where's my Sunday night? Here it is. Sunday Night Football. Where's Washington? Maybe it was that Eagles game I was thinking of. But yeah, oh man, I'm so pumped. Just so pumped. This is such a good show tonight. Like just talking about all this. I mean, Ben Sinnott. All right, mute yourselves real quickly. Bob, Marsman, rock out. Jason, if you guys got to drop off, no problem. But mute yourself if you would. I give you Moon Man number whatever he is. We'll have to look at it when we pull the board up. This guy, Ben Sinnott, is going to be an absolute marvel in Washington. This Washington Commander rookie tight end. If there was ever a player that felt a little bit like Laporta coming into his rookie year, ranked number 2 of the class, right? Ranked number 2 of the class. Kincaid was ahead of him. Mayer was ahead of him. Sinnott is a absolute similar type of player in that he's ranked lower but has probably as much upside, and his situation couldn't be better. So if there's anybody that's going to become the number 1 tight end from this tight end class and come kind of out of nowhere, it would be Ben Sinnott, Washington Commander rookie tight end. So for that reason, because he's such a steal, you can have him really late in a redraft, underdog, fantasy, best ball draft, redraft. Dynasty, you could get him in like the second round, sometimes even like the turn of the second and third round. Ben Sinnott might be better than Bowers. I'm not saying he is for sure, but he might be. He might be Laporta to Kincaid. Both of them great. You know, Laporta and Kincaid were both fantastic, both top 4 tight ends. There's no reason Ben Sinnott, in his situation with JD5 throwing to him, with his skill set, with his size, with his pure athleticism, his ability to dominate space around him, this literally looks like Rob Gronkowski. It literally looks like Rob Gronkowski dominating defenders like they're just playing Pop Warner football with some big dude. That's what it looks like when Sinnott's out there. He's got good hands. He's got good spatial awareness. He's got fantastic ability to go get the football, not let the football come to him, so he's not some body catcher. He's a guy that will literally lay out for a football, roll, not get touched, hop up and keep running. Like, that's how athletic he is. Ben Sinnott is athletic. He's the biggest athletic tight end I've seen in a long time, and quite honestly, I'm ashamed of myself that I wasn't higher on him prior to the NFL draft. Look, we all aren't perfect, but this is something I feel like, I should have been a little more on top of Ben Sinnott coming out of college. I even have shows where I say I don't really like anybody past the top 2 tight ends. He wasn't even my second tight end. But again, no one's perfect, but I'm here to remedy the situation. It is only May 15. I'm allowed to not have everything under control by May 15. It is May 15, and Ben Sinnott is going on the Moon Man list right now, so get ready to celebrate.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
So it looks like we have 5 if you include Penix Jr. 5 Moon Men.
Space Monsters.
And Moon Men are essentially a little bit more like deep calls than the Mars Men, essentially, not always. And then the Saturn Men are more like guaranteed type of monsters. But Sinnott is going to be an absolute marvel in the NFL, I think, especially at the cost of entry. There's really in redraft, you're drafting him almost essentially free. And in Dynasty, like I said, he's going at the second to third round turn. So even if I'm wrong on this, I overestimate this. I over speculate how good this kid can be. We're talking about a player that costs you literally nothing no matter which way you spin this. And so for me, Sinnott becomes an absolute must grab in fantasy, an absolute diamond in the rough. This is the St. Brown or Tank Dell of the tight end class. So let me, one more time for a good measure, celebrate this man right in front of your face. Let's hit the Moon Man one more time for Ben Sinnott, new Moon Man extraordinaire.
The Moon Man, dropping loads in outer space.
Get ready for it. Get your shares. Do it live. I'm telling you, this kid is special. And if I'm wrong, it costs you absolutely zero. It costs you nothing. You don't lose anything. Anybody on the phone line want to speak to Ben Sinnott real quick? Anybody feel anything, any warm and fuzzies? Anything regarding this kid that you do or don't like, or did you not know much about him and you're going to take a look, or what? What do you got? What do you say? What do you hear?
Think he could be a Goddard?
Yeah, I mean, that's okay too. I mean, Goddard, I think, is very undervalued this year. I think he's a top 5 capable tight end, but he's getting ranked at like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like all over the map. I'd say like in general, he's like 10 or 11. Like Goddard's a steal this year. But I don't take disrespect from that, but I do think he could be much better. I do. I think this kid could be top 5 at the position potentially. Not a guarantee, not a lock, but certainly capable of it.
Is he out of Florida, correct?
Yeah, he's no, Kansas State. Kansas State, 6'4", 245-pound monster, bro. Let me pull up. Let me pull up his college stuff here and put it on here. Yeah, Kansas State. Yeah, here it is. Kansas State, 6'4", 245, 21 years old, second round, pick 53. Here you go. Here's his college stuff. Right there. Look at that size, 245, 6'4". What a beast. What a beast. We got a $20 hauler from Ezra coming in strong. Ezra says, here's to Sinnott. Ezra likes the Sinnott call. Ezra, the Sinnott call likes you.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Yeah, he is such a monster. Ezra coming in strong with that 20 wad. Get ready for
like the finesse of Laporta.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. That's a good way to describe it, Rocket. An even smoother Laporta, really. Doesn't mean he'll be...
And the blocking of Gronkowski.
Potentially. Doesn't mean he won't, he'll be better than Laporta. No one's necessarily saying that, but he just does remind me of a smooth operator. Now, his college stats weren't like so crazy that you would, I don't know, you would say, oh my God, like this is why probably he didn't pop out to me too much coming out of college, because it's not like his numbers qualified him for a big conversation. You almost had to like watch enough film to just get kind of impressed. And I admittedly kind of overlooked him because of, I don't know if it was KSU that I overlooked or whatever the case may be, but 676 yards and 6 touchdowns on 49 receptions. Year prior, 447 and 4 on 31. He did have a rushing touchdown the year prior to that in 2021. So they can run the ball with him. Like there's a lot of talk about people saying that he could get goal line carries because he's such a monster. So that's interesting, right? So we'll see if they develop some sort of like crazy Mike Allstott role for him near the goal line. He's that big. He's just a monster. But these numbers won't like jump out at you. But it was KSU. There's some reason to say like, hey, I'm not going to judge him on that. He could develop at the NFL level, but he's really, really good. He's really good. Are you going to make a smooth operator for Sinnott song? Yeah, we might. He's a smooth operator. Sinnott's a smooth. I like that.
Is there a possibility that he, because Zach Ertz is there right now, where Zach Ertz falls out like first 5 weeks and then he takes over like McBride?
I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting week 1. Ben and Sinnott, yeah. No, like yeah, he's the most athletic. He's also, keep in mind, you got rookie and rookie. And whenever you have an incoming rookie quarterback and a second round tight end, bro, like he's drafted in round 2, pick 53. He's drafted 53 overall. So you're talking about high draft capital. You're talking about a rookie in JD5 working with him in rookie camp, developing a rapport. Zach Ertz doesn't have any rapport at all with him. Ben Sinnott's a step above Zach Ertz in terms of rapport, with his quarterback. So it's not like he comes in and has got to learn the system and all that. Like, he's learning the system with JD5. They're learning it together. And not to mention, if you go back and watch any of the highlights the last like 2 or 3 days in Washington, especially with the rookies on the field, it's like JD5 to Sinnott, like in multiple back-to-back highlight reels. And they're already developing this amazing rapport, which is why I've been wanting to do this for like 2 or 3 days. But I had to keep putting it off because we kept doing some kind of draft or whatever. But Sinnott feels like, to me, he could easily have the edge walking into week 1. All right, boys. Anything else, Bob? And rock out. I'm going to let you jump, and I'm going to go get some loaded baked potato that I can smell Miss Smitty made. It's not meatloaf, but it is loaded baked potato. It will do. It will do the job. Ezra, again, thank you for the $20 hauler, you monster. You monster. Coble coming in with another one. Is it a dream to hope Sinnott falls to the 3.6? Not a dream. He dropped to like 3.1 or 2, I think, in the draft I was just in. But that's a stretch. You might want to just take him around 2 or trade that third rounder up. Give a second next year to move your third into the second and just get him. Rock out. Bob, anything else?
Not much.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. You go.
Bueller. All right, Bob's out of here. Bob's gone. Rock out. Final question. Go.
Yeah, can I give you one more team? It's like 5 picks.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got ETN, Pacheco, Hill, Samuel.
Hold on.
Andrews.
ETN, Pacheco, Tyreek Hill?
Yep.
And who else?
Debo and Andrews.
Debo and Andrews. That's pretty interesting. ETN, Pacheco, Hill, Debo, Andrews. I like that. That's one of those teams, like, I don't know, maybe you walk out and you're not like, that's my normal team, but I like it. It's different. It's good. It's good. It can be really, really good. I mean, Pacheco and ETN, this is the kind of running back crew that's either going to be really underrated or they're both injured in week 8. We'll see.
Right.
Yeah, but Hill and Debo, I mean, there's a lot of injury concern here. Older player, Hill, Debo, injury concern. Andrews can't stay healthy. Pacheco runs like a bat out of hell. And ETN's always been an injury concern and hasn't been getting hurt, so like people are just like, at what point? So this is just that kind of crew, but it's very high upside. It's why you're getting them all at a discount, except for you're paying, top dollar for Hill, but you're getting everyone else.
Yeah, something a little bit different.
Yeah, I like it. I definitely build teams like that. Those are good. That's really good, bro. All right. Rock out. Appreciate you. Rock out to the moon. There it is. Schedule. We'll be back tonight. We'll be back tonight to do a weekly winner draft and have some sort of topic at hand. Weekly winners on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Weekly winners are out. If anybody doesn't know what weekly winners is, it's where literally you and click this link right here, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Weekly winners is literally when you they get 50% off. 50% match on your first deposit up to $250. So you deposit $500, they'll give you $250. You deposit $100, they'll give you $50. If you go above $500, then it's the match will only exceed $250. So you do $600, it's still $250. You do $500, it's $250. But $250 will be the max that they give you 50% of your deposit. So if you did the minimum of 10, you get $5. But if you go over and you click that link and sign up, you'll be ready for the draft tonight. We're going to do the $10 entry weekly winners where you draft a team and you take them through the entire season. You draft one and done. Best ball is always one and done. You don't redraft. You don't pick up guys. You don't set your lineup. It's drafting. You don't worry about it. You can monitor how you're doing, but you don't worry about it. The great thing about weekly winners is so much better than even the Best Ball Mania, to be frank, is that every week someone's getting paid 20 grand for winning. And it has nothing to do with the previous weeks. There's no tallying of scores. You literally can draft your team to just win week 7. And they could all be suspended weeks 1 through 6 and weeks 8 through 17. But if they all play week 6 and you win week 6, you win 20K. Every week is 20K. Winner, I think, unless they change the prizes. Let me go look at the prizes real quick. I didn't actually glance at. God, I love weekly winners. It's such a fun contest to jump in. It looks like the prizes. Let's see here. So first place is 20K. So every single week, so 1.7 million in prizes to this contest. 100K paid out weeks 1 through 17 as follows: 20K to first, 10K to second. So you get second place in week 2, 10K. You get second place in week 3 alone, not tallying anything. 10K. You get first place in either one, 20K. You can literally have your entire team suspended for weeks 1 through 16. And in week 17, they all come back. You win week 17, standalone week. Nothing matters from the previous weeks. Nothing's compiled together. It's all like 17 individual leagues, really. 20K. That's what's so fun about weekly winners. It's my absolute favorite platform, without a hesitation, without an equivocation. I'll see you all tonight. We'll be drafting. Thank you to my super chatters. We had Joseph, we had Calvin Krim, we had John, we had Thomas, we had Coble, we had Jack of all trades, Kenny, Young, Rockout, Superfish, Terry Roberts, Navage, Ezra with the 20 watt on screen. Ezra gets a little highlight there. That's solid. And then Coble dropped his super chats, but he also gifted 10 memberships. So I'm going to highlight Coble as well. Ezra, Coble, thank you both for being monsters. Thank every single one of you for coming in and being an absolute gem to this channel. I couldn't do it without you. And thank you all for being here. I don't know if I had any celebratory messages. I don't think I did. And gifted memberships, we had the Coble 10. So I just wanted to double check on that. Thank you very much. I'll see you all later. Schedule, amazing show. See you tonight. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Link in the description. Drop in the link one more time so you guys can play with me tonight on Underdog, playing weekly winners. See you all later.